with Elma, my co-host Kimberly, and I'm going to introduce our guests in a few minutes. This is a Christian-based talk show, and we would love for you to be on our show, but you remember, it is Christian-based. You're welcome to come on here, but you cannot change our faith, okay? All right. My favorite scripture is Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this very thing, that he which has begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. And what that means to me is whatever you started, you ought to finish it. And so on the Talk of Life talk show with Elma, that's what we try to do, is bring on wonderful guests to share their testimony, authors to share what they wrote in their book. And I just thank God for these women that's on the show tonight. Now, motivational saying is, great opportunities often disguise themselves in small tasks. All right, so we're going to get ready to get off into the sauce of our guest tonight. And our very special guest that we have all the way from California, woo! California in the house, is celebrating me, embracing who God created me to be. Johnnie Greene is the author of this awesome book. Give it up for Johnnie Greene. Yeah. All right, and also in her book, she has, do you call them the seven?
The Divine Seven.
Divine Seven. And why you call them the Divine Seven?
The reason I call them the Divine Seven is because I only know two of the people that are in the book.
Okay.
That live in California. The other 5 live in Texas. I had not met them until this week. And I'm just so happy, excited that they chose to be a part of this project. I consider it like a project because we're hoping to reach millions and turn their life around and help them get rid of the weight. 7 is the number of completion.
Right.
8 is a new beginning.
Yes, I love it.
And I believe with every fiber in my body that God is the one who orchestrated this.
Yes.
I had nothing to do with it. All I did was tell my life story. And I truly believe that the 7 that are in this book is going to give me the new beginning that I need in my life. The new beginning of amazing things to come. Yes. And that new beginning is going to be a ministry of helping other people. All my life, I have been one who, if you're underdog, that's who I go with. I've always tried to help.
Yes.
You know, and so here, not only will people be helped from my testimony, but we're talking about 7 others.
That's awesome.
7.
That is awesome.
And to not know 5 of them, that's God.
That is.
That's God.
That's God.
And my sister, my blood sister, who is my publisher, she's a woman of God, and she would tell me things. And I said, hey, we're going to go with that. Because my first book was supposed to be about travel.
Okay.
Wow.
The last 2 years, I've traveled 42 states. I only have 8 more to go. And she said to me, I started taping this book 3 years ago at her house. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go travel and I'm going to do the travel book. And then she said, when we got ready to talk about doing the book, because I figured I got enough material, she says, but you got more material on your life story.
Story, okay.
Let's do that.
And what did you say?
And I said yes. And it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, you know. When you know somebody else is walking in the spirit,
yes,
because if God can speak to a donkey,
what you say?
He can certainly
that old
speak
donkey,
to my sister.
He can speak to that old donkey.
Hello? Yeah.
Hallelujah.
If he can speak to the
us.
donkey,
Come on.
he can definitely tell
and
my
some
sister.
of us been a donkey. Oh.
and I knew it was God driven when I had Dr. Brent says, "Can I be in your book?" You know,
Wow.
so that's God.
It is.
A psychiatrist,
Awesome. Yes.
Yes.
little old me that never really fit in, who thought I was a really nobody. even though I was successful throughout my life,
Yes.
Right.
I go home at night and I felt like I was a nobody. And I'm sure there's a lot of people
Yes.
that are listening to me
Yes.
tonight
Yes.
feel like a nobody.
Yes.
But I want to tell you, you are somebody.
Why are you somebody?
You are somebody because you belong to Jesus.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
You
about.
belong to Jesus,
Yes.
so you're somebody.
Yes, you are.
And I tell you right now, if you read this book,
you gotta read it.
Yes, you gotta read it.
your life will change. And I'm so excited about you getting the book that I'm going to give you something free. Everybody's going to get a bookmark free.
That is
And this
awesome.
bookmark has the scripture on the back of a mustard seed.
I love it. I love it.
I'm
little
sitting here
mustard seed.
today. The reason I'm sitting here today is because of having mustard seed faith.
Wow.
If you read that book, you can see how many times I've moved around the
That's right.
United
It's a
States.
good book. Yes.
And it was through faith.
Through faith.
When it's sort of like Abraham. When God told him to move, he moved.
So
I was
you
in one
moved.
place for 2 years. God told me to move.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was sitting here in Dallas, Texas for her event that she was having. And a lady walked into Applebee's and she said to me, they're looking for you in California.
And that was awesome. I read that. That was awesome.
Wow.
You was minding your own business.
Minding my own business.
Wow.
And she said, they're looking for you in California. I had left California a little over a year prior to that after I got a divorce.
So this woman just walked up. Did you know the lady?
Yeah, she used to be one of my customers at another one of my business.
Okay, so did you know she was here? And
No.
this was in Dallas, right?
Yes. She flew in to Dallas for a function.
Okay.
I flew into Dallas for my sister breast cancer weekend. And she was actually on the plane with my sister from
And you did-
California.
Wow. And was talking to your sister, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
She was talking. I told you I read the book. She was talking to your sister,
yes. Mhm.
and y'all was having dinner, and she just walked up to the table and said, "Hey,
Yes.
looking for you."
Now, is that God or what?
You knew it had to be
I'm
God.
living in Mississippi. I left California. I'm living in Mississippi.
Isn't that
And I
something?
come to Dallas. Being in the right place at the right time.
What was you eating at Applebee's? What was Applebee's?
Yes.
What was you eating, girl, at Applebee's?
They're riblet.
Riblet. And she interrupted your riblets, huh?
She interrupted my whole day. And when she said Dave Shell is looking for you, I knew exactly what she meant.
Wow.
And so what I did, I went back and I started preparing myself to move back to California.
Wow. I bet that riblet was right here when she walked
Oh,
up
it's
there.
good.
See, I told you we would go get into her sauce tonight.
Yes.
Now I have mustard. I'm gonna get all the mustard out, and Kimberly, you have what? Ketchup. So Kimberly's gonna get all the ketchup out. So we're gonna get all in your sauce tonight.
All right, get in my sauce.
But this was so interesting in her book, and we're gonna get to you. This is our other guest. Is it Nakia
It is.
Davis,
It
right?
is.
And she has an awesome testimony in the book, and we're going to get to her story in a few minutes after we get into the mustard sauce of Johnnie Greene. Okay, so we're going to get all into the mustard. What was that? No, Kimberly wanted to get all into her. I said, I'm mustard, you ketchup. Okay, so since it's ketchup, then we're going to let Kimberly
Ketchup.
See, I go and put that together.
Hello.
Kimberly gonna catch up and tell us how she met John. Because I tell you, Kimberly, all these people on there, I don't know. I just know like I've been knowing you for the first time. Okay, Kimberly, catch up.
Okay, I was scrolling through Facebook and this cover popped up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this lady is absolutely gorgeous. She's flawless. And this is celebrating me, and I'm a me kind of girl.
She is. She's not lying.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful.
Isn't she though?
I mean, like, yes, and you're how old? Do you want to tell us your secret?
Yes,
Your secret age?
I'm 73. I'll be 74 December 15th.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
cannot believe
she
that.
wrote a book. She's in her
Beautiful.
70s. She's absolutely stunning,
Beautiful.
gorgeous. Are you trying to get married?
Oh, no.
Oh, she's not trying to get married.
Ah, you need
Sorry,
to read
guys.
the book.
You're on your own. You're on your own.
Read the
I tried,
book.
guys. I tried. And then I didn't realize someone that I'm friends with on Facebook had posted it. And somehow it tagged me. Look at God.
Oh, yeah. Look at
Won't
that.
he do it?
And this was about 2 o'clock in the morning that I met you. And we talked until almost 3 o'clock.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm being nosy.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I didn't even know
Emily.
you didn't live here.
I thought
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
didn't either. When
I
she
didn't.
said California, when I talked to her on the phone, I said, boy, the Talk of Life talk
I'm
show is
just
really just so awesome. We
You
got
can
people from
fulfill your
California.
dreams,
Yeah.
and it gave me hope that it doesn't matter. You can fulfill your dream at any time.
Oh, yeah.
We get so caught up
Anytime.
in age that if it's not done
That's
by
right.
this age or that age, it didn't happen. But you're just absolutely gorgeous,
Oh, thank
stunning.
you.
I was like, oh my gosh, I want to look that good.
At that time.
Thank you.
And you know, and Queen, I just have to call you Queen.
Yes.
Let me bow
Oh,
down
yes,
again.
yes,
To this beautiful queen that God
Yes.
has truly blessed.
yes.
And reading, and I'm on my computer. I think I went 5 hours strolling through and trying to read everything and all of this.
Yes, yes.
And I was up because it was just so interesting. I couldn't stop reading. My husband said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading. I finished one book and I'm reading this one." He said, "Gosh, you learned how to read all over again." Yes. Okay, these are interesting people. But I was reading, and you know, about this queen up here. She's a leader and a woman of distinction with a decade of experience. And look, this is what's so cute. Can you believe her working for Harley Davidson? Is this the motorcycle Harley Davidson?
3700 West Juneau Avenue. If you listen, anybody in management, I'm going to be calling you.
But think about it. Did you ever ride the motorcycles or what?
Okay, I started with Harley Davidson in 1970.
Wow.
And
Wow.
God is just, okay, I'm a Joseph type person, okay?
I read that in the book
Yes,
too.
I'm a Joseph type person. So I started with Harley Davidson in 1970. I was the third Black person to work for Harley Davidson in the office.
Wow.
And they had data entry operators all over the place. And they decided to consolidate. So they consolidated us. And they went outside and hired somebody to come in and be supervisor. And God showed favor with me and that supervisor. We were both pregnant at the same time.
Get out of here. Y'all were doing that stuff.
Yes. And she she was about 3 months ahead of me.
Okay.
So when she got ready to leave, she said, "I want you to be supervisor while I'm gone. I'll be back before you leave to have your baby." And I'm thinking, this ain't about to happen. We're talking about 1970.
Right. Prejudice and all of this stuff.
1973, and we only had 3 Black ladies there. And I'm the only Black lady in the department. We got 17 employees.
And there was other white women there and white men, right?
Yes. Well, the department was all white. I had a lady that was from Cuba. They were different nationalities, but I was the only Black. And I'm thinking, this not happen. My boss is Jewish. I had a good relationship with him as well. So she goes and she comes back and she says, "Johnny, it's yours. You're going to fill in while I'm gone."
Get out of
I
here.
almost passed out
I know you did.
because I had, I just couldn't fathom that I was going to be leading this department.
Yes.
So he calls me in and talked to me.
Well,
with
how
her.
long had you been working there?
3 years.
3 years. And
3
there were
years.
other people been there longer than you, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, there was
So
one
you
lady
know
been there
God
about.
found favor on
Oh,
you.
this one
Yes.
lady had been there about 15 years, and she was upset because she didn't get to be supervisor, and they went outside and hired somebody else.
Ooh.
So
Oh.
to show you how sweet God is.
Yes.
You needed a you
Yes.
needed a bachelor degree to be supervisor.
Mm.
Okay. The lady, after she had the baby, the husband said, "I don't want you to go back."
Wow.
So her boss, the manager, called me up and asked me when I come back after having my baby, because I'd gone out, she still wasn't back, "Would you become supervisor?"
Wow.
So
and,
that's how God put me in
and
that
they
spot.
held that position for
They
you.
held that position. I hadn't had the baby, and I ended up having to have C-section, and I was off 2 months. So they held that position open for me.
Wow.
Wow, that's wow.
And,
So-
and you know, I mean, you've been through so much in this book that you was a pioneer in the food services for the state of California.
Mm-hmm.
She won a big contract for the United States Post Office.
The largest one in the
Los
state of
Angeles.
California. Pardon me. The largest one in the United States. I talked with the postmaster before I left California, and she said, No, it's not the largest one in California. It's the largest post office in the state of California.
Isn't that something?
Mhm.
And you had a food contract. Was it inside there
Yes,
or?
I supplied food to their employees. When I went there, they had 3,500 employees, and I got caught up. I got caught up in the 2008 recession.
Wow.
First, I started out in 2006. My first month, I made $105,000. Yes.
And
A
then,
black lady.
y'all have to read the book. Celebrating me, embracing who God created me to be. I mean, we are, oh gosh. And then I like the story in the book where you talked about the cash register when you worked for the cleaners and
Oh my God.
and how you cooked. And then she talked about when President Kennedy, was it Kennedy got
Yes.
killed, and how you was cooking in there and how, oh, that was awesome.
The day President Kennedy was shot in 1963, it was a dreary day, sort of like it's starting to be
Right.
outside. And they came on the PA system and said, President Kennedy has been shot. I saw teachers weeping.
Mm.
That was in 63. I was 16 years old. We were weeping
Mm-hmm.
because we felt that was our hope. And so when I got home that night, my mother said, you don't have to cook. Someone wants you to come cook for them. Because my name got around
And she
that I was a
great
good cook,
Yeah.
you know. And so I go and I fix dinner for them, and they start to eat, and they send me into a bedroom to iron. And they were partying
Partying
in the
up.
middle of the week. And I heard this one say to the other one, we're celebrating the N word, lover.
Wasn't that something? I mean, to hear them call him the N, y'all know what the N word is, lovers. That, you know, they should have went on. They was excited that they had killed the president because they looked at him as a N lover. You as a young girl hearing this, Arnie, what was your next step?
I was devastated.
I know in the book, y'all read the
I was
book.
devastated because I've been in church all my life. My mother, we couldn't do nothing. We didn't go to
You go
church.
to church.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know, I can't believe this. You're celebrating that somebody was
The
killed.
president, though, of the United States.
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes. I as in that time, we would get up in the morning, cross burn on our lawn, get the book because there is just so much. That
It's so
happened
much
to
in
me.
it. I'm trying to get something to. Also, not only that, she had pigs. You had a pig farm. I mean, she actually had a pig farm.
Okay, when I got so tired of all the snow and the cold weather in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I came to California. I went to California and went to Las Vegas. The weather was nice. I'm out celebrating my birthday.
Yeah.
I go back home and I couldn't get my car out to go to work the next day. I had to take the bus. And I said, I'm getting out of California. Well, in 1980, Harley Davidson bought the business back because it used to be America AMF. And so they decided they were going to downsize. And they offered us a package deal if you're taking a layout.
Right.
Well, they didn't expect managers and supervisors to do it. So I'm like, okay, this is my way out. They're going to give me a week for every year I worked. They're going to give me all my vacation time. And because I was in management, I didn't get paid overtime. So they're going to give me all my comp time and can collect unemployment. I'm like, okay.
But they wasn't expecting you, Johnny.
They sent me home.
They wasn't
It's in the
expecting
book.
you. I know it. That's really, I know what's in
They
the book.
told me to go home.
Yeah.
They
But
told me
were
to go
shocked.
home and think about
Think
it.
about it.
I went back the next day, and the president of MI, over the computer system, he's over programming everything. He sent for me. I went in his office, and he said, "I've been told that you're going to take the layoff," and I said yes.
He didn't like that at all.
And my dad was an inspiration in me making my mind up to do it because I was under a lot of stress. you know,
And then
managing
managing
that many
and all of that,
employees.
yeah.
Yes, I was under a lot of stress.
And then to get all into her song some more, you all, you have to read the book Celebrating Me by Johnnie Greene. Okay, so we've been skipping around, but anyway, Johnnie had a lot of ups and downs in her life.
Yes.
She went through a lot of things, and I was reading in here where you had gotten married and all of this good stuff, and what you end up going through. Your life with
My children's
your father, and then you said one. I was reading the book, and this is what was so funny. While I was reading the book, I was like, "Dang, she sounds like Cinderella." I mean, I was reading it because she was raising you. You was the oldest of the. Was you the oldest?
I'm
of
the
something?
oldest of 6
And
kids.
you was taking. She was working. She was taking care of all her sisters and brothers and everything, and in there, and you say you went to the doctor. Y'all all had different last names or something, and people was talking about you.
Yeah, go to the health department and get your shot to go back to school, you know, and that was embarrassing. One of the things it did for me is I was determined that I would be married before I had children. You know, that just was not happening. And my sister next to me, we used to talk about that all the time. And God did grant us, both of us, we ended up married. I think I had my first child in November, and and I've been married 3 years.
Now that was to Mr. Greene.
No, Banks.
Banks. Okay, that was Mr.
My
Banks.
children's
Okay.
father's last name was Banks.
Banks.
Yes, and that marriage was a 10-year marriage, produced 2 girls.
Now that's the one where you had planned it out, y'all. I ain't gonna say, y'all got. I mean, y'all got to read this book. She was a genius, y'all. She planned it out. Okay, so.
So I pretty much had the last year of college. I had spent money because he didn't work, making sure he got through his last year of college, and I had to encourage him to go back.
Yeah.
But then after he had started college, after he got out, the marriage started to take a turn for the worse. And I'm thinking, oh no, I done put you through college and this is going on.
Y'all got to read the book.
Oh no, this is not happening. So I came across a piece of information, and that's why we as women have to make sure we research. And that information I came across, I think it was like the 8th year of the marriage. It says if you're married to your husband for 10 years, you can collect his Social Security.
That tickled me when I was reading that.
So what I did was I made sure I made them next 2 years.
Johnny, give me some love. Give me some love. Give me some love.
I laughed when I was reading that book. I said, she made it through those 2 years.
Last 2 years.
But through those, she had some hard time trying to struggle to make that 2 years.
Oh my God.
But she said, oh no, I'm not stopping right now. And she made it through those 2 years.
My youngest daughter and I was laughing because the book was launched on her birthday. And, you know, I was telling her, I said, there was some time that got so rough that when I went to pick them up from the babysitter, I had a half-pint of Secret 7 in my purse. And I had to drink a little bit of that to take the edge off.
Yeah.
You know?
She did a lot of sipping in the book.
Yeah.
Get that money.
So, yes.
But then that ended up turning into a habit, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah, because after I left him, we had a really bad confrontation when I got ready to leave. And he said, you can't take the kids. Get the book, you'll find out what I really did. And
I can't tell you.
Yeah. And so when I get to court, state of Wisconsin, look at it, you abandon your children.
Yeah.
And so that was another fight. Yeah. So ladies, before you make that transition, make sure you know what your laws say. You need to plan it out. All states are different
laws.
Yes.
So was that Wisconsin where it said if you stay with them 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, we gotta find out.
Yeah, but I think
I've been with mine so long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw all his pictures and everything. I done been with him 38 years, so ain't no sense in going back.
So we had a struggle for
Because that's
custody.
hard for
I
a
wanted-
mother to leave her
Yes.
kid.
Oh God.
And then y'all end with,
I didn't think that was going to happen. You know, I just thought, okay, I'll see you in court because it was necessary that we do it like that. Because if I had stayed another day, one of us was going to die.
yeah, she mentioned that too in the
Because
book.
I'll tell women.
She almost became a murderer.
Yeah, I did. Don't stay in a relationship until it
Right.
push you there.
Right.
You know, do
That's
not
good.
do that because it's just
Thank
too
you.
damaging. Yeah,
'Cause
because
she
you
had a
could
breaking
flip
point.
out. That was my breaking point.
That was her breaking
Yeah,
point,
that
y'all.
was my breaking point.
But she did last the 2 years
Yes,
to
yes.
make that 10.
Yes.
And then you made up your mind that you was going to go.
Yes,
And
yes.
you went to your best friend or somebody.
I went to
and-
my best friend. I called my best friend up and I said, "Can I come stay with you?" She said, "Yes." And that's who I went to stay with. And we were in court for about 17 months. Just the ideal of being in court. And I had my kids on the weekend. I had to take them back. It was like my heart was just being torn apart. So I had different girlfriends that would go with me to take them back. And then we'd go out and have a few drinks. And I always didn't miss work. And I was always on time. And so my boss noticed my habit of change. I started to call in on Monday. And he said, he was letting me know that I could go see a psychiatrist. Guess what? God blessed me with a psychiatrist who was going through
The
a
same
divorce
thing.
himself. And he was going through the same thing. And I'm just like, look at God.
God. But
Because-
let me ask you this, but did you ever think that Black people should go to see a psychiatrist? 'Cause
Not
whatever
really.
stayed in the house.
Not really. Back then, you don't tell. I didn't tell anybody I was going to see a psychiatrist. You know what I'm saying? But now it's very
Yeah.
norm.
That's right.
And,
we need to do
yeah,
that
yeah.
if we're in that situation. But a lot of us
You
think
need
that.
to go. If you need help, get it.
Get it.
Get it.
And your insurance, didn't it pay for it? or
Yes,
something?
my
So your
insurance-
insurance will pay for
Yes,
some of it.
yes.
Just check it.
Gossiping doesn't count as consultation.
No.
This is devil advocate over here.
Because we're always
Yeah.
talking with our girlfriends.
So if you need,
right?
if you need
Yeah,
that,
the girlfriend.
if you
It
need
don't
that
work.
help, because I've done it more than one time.
That's good.
Yeah, I've done it more than one time, and each time it was beneficial. Some things it's just too hard to work out amongst yourself. And I say that a person, if you're having issue, find somebody you can talk to, because all of that stress affects your health.
That's good.
It affects your health, and you don't want it. I have so many people who tell me I don't look my age.
don't.
No, you don't.
One of the
Gosh,
things
no.
is I've always had a real strong relationship with God. I've always had the faith, and I just believe, there's some things that I'm believing about this book, and God is ministering to me, and He's showing me things, and my faith, I believe that has kept me looking the way I look, because I don't worry. I have a lot of time people say, "Oh, you shouldn't be worried about that." I'm like, you just have no clue. I don't worry because there are times that I look in the rear view of my life, and when I look, the only time I look is so that I can see where God brought me from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I look in that rear view mirror and I'm going through, in 2008, I thought I was going to lose my mind
Right.
because I had a very lucrative business and I lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was in debt like you would not believe. And the reason for that is because I was trying to hold on for my employees. I had 32 employees and I thought, how are they going to eat?
That's right.
That's good.
I had a job, but I had a partner. He walked out on me, so I hired a manager. And I thought, I can't leave the job because I'm too far in debt over here, And it's like I had to talk to somebody. So I got a psychiatrist again.
That's good.
and it helped because and today I just can't imagine the amount of people that are hurting
That's right.
from losing their business.
Yes.
There's so many.
So many of
But my thing today is to tell you, if you read this book, you will see, no matter where you go, if you hit rock bottom or whatever happened to you, and I've hit rock bottom a few times. And when I say hit rock bottom, I'm not just talking about money. I've hit rock bottom because I didn't like myself. There was time
right.
that I thought about just throwing my hand up. I really didn't think I was loved. I didn't think anybody cared about me, and I just wanted to just end it all.
End it all.
But thank God I didn't end it all. Look at me today.
That's right.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you answered it. How did you come up with the title?
Oh my gosh! Like I said,
I love the title. I just
my
love
my
it. It
sister
says
and
so
I,
much.
we have a bond like no other. I met her the first time when she was 16 years old. She was the prettiest little thing.
That's
I was
so sweet.
29, and I thought, oh my God, she was in a pageant. She came to Wisconsin in a pageant, and she was trying to locate her dad, who was my dad. And ever since then, it's like we just, clicked. We've never had an argument.
Oh.
So the way that Tyler came up, she called me up and she said, hey, as I'm going through it, I'm doing this book. She said, you've been through so much. And she said, it's time for you to celebrate you. So let's make the Tyler celebrating me and embrace who God intended for you to be. And I said, okay.
That's good. Oh,
Now,
what
who
a
is their sister?
My publisher, Chocolate Diamond, Sylvia Donovan Hine.
All right, give a shout out to Sylvia. Wow.
She's my publisher, Chocolate Diamond Publishing Company.
Yes. And she's a beautiful person.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
So you met your sister. It's just so much. You all have to read this book because the life that she lived was similar to Cinderella. I mean, she's been in beauty pageant. Was it you in the beauty pageant with Miss Marion County, right?
1963.
Right, and then you went on, but that was because somebody saw something in you, and you got into that, and then also you was called into the ministry too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I had two of my instructors who always encouraged me.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Mr. Watts, our history teacher. One day he saw me in the hall, and I don't know how he knew I was having a bad day, because most people, if I got a bad day or something bad going on,
It had to be really
they
bad,
don't usually know about it because I kept smiling.
So you
I
didn't
was
gossip
good.
and tell your business.
Oh
did
no, I was good at masking. I was very good at masking because I'm gonna do that smile. And he said to me,
Smile.
he said, "Girl, young lady, every time I see you in the hall, you always smiling." And he said to me, if you smile, the world will smile with you.
Yes.
I never forgot that.
And you still smile.
I never forgot that. And if you go back to the lady who she said, Johnny, I want you to run for Miss Marion County.
Right.
And she said, you have to raise money. I'm thinking, I don't
have no money.
Poor, how am I going to do this? And she said, I'll do it for you. I watched this woman who owned a beauty shop, and she had a beauty school, and she taught school there. That woman raised enough money that I became Miss Marion County.
Was she a white lady or what?
Black lady.
She was a black lady that did this?
Yes, she did that for
Wow.
me. And so it was like God had all of these people in my life that was doing things to bring me out of what I was feeling inside.
Wow.
Because you felt a lot of hurt inside.
Oh, I felt a lot of hurt inside.
Because you had been
Nobody knew.
mistreated.
Yes. Yeah, I felt a lot of hurt inside.
Yes.
I felt that I didn't feel love, and I'm a lot of it maybe came from the fact that my father was not present in my life, not because of his doing.
Right.
I saw him when I was 7 years old. The next time I laid eyes on him, I was 17.
And you also mentioned that you had a hard time forgiving your mom because you felt like she kept your dad out of your life. And a lot of times that's what happens is we turn to other men looking for that daddy figure.
Oh, honey, yes.
Y'all have to read the book because there was some more in there too about the thing.
Yeah.
But when I was reading this book, I thought about myself because my daddy died when I was 5. And I would look into the older men. I didn't like the young men.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a daddy figure and everything. So I can relate to you on that part.
Yes.
And I can relate to you talking about the Cinderella, how you was mistreated and how you had to take care of all the kids. And but you don't look nothing like your story.
I don't look like where I've been.
No, you don't.
Thank you, Jesus.
Woo! Y'all need to read
Thank
the
you,
book.
glory.
That's the reason why she's celebrating me,
Yes, yes.
herself. And a lot
Yes.
of women, you all need to really read this book because she talks so much about the hurt that she had experienced, the relationship she had gone through and ended up
Two
married.
marriages.
Yes. That was awesome. And how she playing that 10-year thing, you gotta read the book. It's interesting. So let's pause right now. Tell them how they can get your book.
Before you say that,
Oh, what?
and the thing that's going to be interesting about her book is that she's in her 70s. Most people that write, they're in their 20s, their 30s, or 40s. She's experienced all those years, so she can
Good
look back
years.
and give you wisdom. That someone in their 20s that hasn't gained yet, or in their 30s or their 40s. Because even now, with me turning 55, the way I thought AARP in the house.
That's Kim thing there.
What I thought and how I
Mhm.
perceived life in my 40s is not how I perceive it now at 55.
That's right.
So you're going to gain so much insight
Yes.
and wisdom
Yes.
to even illuminate your spirit so you can see spiritual things as
Mhm.
well. That's what I was gathering
It
from
is.
the book.
Yes.
And then you was called into the ministry. I thought
Yes.
that was exciting.
Mhm.
So you want
But
to share?
let me
Okay,
go back
ahead.
to my mother.
Okay.
Okay. My mother died when she was 5 years old. So it was 4 girls and they were given to
Mhm.
different ones.
Oh.
And so her grandfather and grandmother raised her. And so one of the things that was very, that she did not want to give us to anybody. She wanted to
Right.
keep us all together. And in later years, you know, my mother and I were in a good place before she died. She apologized, you know, for, you know, some of the things that went on. But she said, I wanted to keep my kids together because I didn't have my sisters. There was 3 other sisters. And she only had a 5th grade education. But she did it. She kept us all together. But my sisters and brothers didn't realize it was at my expense. And when I say that,
Yes.
I had to help take care of them.
Mhm.
I worked outside to help take care of the children and stuff. So I know what Elizabeth Taylor and Michael Jackson talk about when they say, I never had a childhood. I never really had a childhood.
Because you was grown all your life.
Yeah, I was grown all my life.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because you
Yeah.
would work and take care. But it also taught you business. You said you wanted to always go into business. I read it. I
Yes,
was reading
yes,
it, girl. I was
yes,
into that.
yes.
Because it was so inspirational to me for you to talk about your life with so much power.
There was a couple in my town named Charlene and Doyle Forbes. Back in those days, everything was segregated.
Right.
So if people came to pick you up to go out and clean house,
Mhm.
you had to ride in the back
Back
seat.
seat.
You know,
Wow.
and God showed favor with that couple. One day, she came home and she go, "Oh my God, what is that smell?" And I was cooking because I had learned how to cook at a young age. And she goes, "Oh my goodness, can I take some back to Doyle?" And I go, "Yeah, take some back to your husband." So this was in the summertime, and I always had a job keeping her kids, and then sometime on weekend. So Doyle says, "Okay, when are you going to get 15?" I says, "I got another year before I get 15." The day I turned 15, he left his cleaners, his business, came pick me up, and I got my driver's license.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
You took her to get her driver's
Taking me to get
This
driver's
is a
license.
white man, right?
Well, this is a white man. And so,
Get this. That's
so
awesome.
now he did that so that I could cook when I was there with the kids in the summertime. And I'd drive the food over to the cleaners. And while they were back there eating, okay, that was during the time that when I was cooking at the restaurant, I talk
Mhm.
about that.
Mhm.
When I went there to eat, I couldn't go in the restaurant. I had to go to the back
The back door.
to get
Back
food.
door to get in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to go to the back door to get food, even though I worked there. You weren't allowed to go into the restaurant
No.
part. I washed dishes and I
Mhm.
cooked, but I couldn't go out
Boy,
there.
That's right.
But one thing I can say about that family, they treated me equally. So he started showing me, and she did, how if Someone came to get the clothes from the cleaners. You go and you pull it.
Mhm.
This is what you do with the cash register. And oh, wow. I'm 15, 16 years old and I'm putting money in there. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I
You
want
in
to
the
do.
front, not in the back.
Not in, yes.
See?
And so, you know, and the thing of it is they were permanent peoples of the community. So people accepted me.
Right.
But you had no other black little girl out cashiering or doing that anyplace else.
And they had to respect them.
Yes.
So you was covered by Jesus, and then you was covered by them.
Yes.
And here's this pretty little black girl up there taking the money from the people.
And
Wow.
all I ever wanted to do was dib and dab in business and cooking. And I believe that, okay, God had a plan for me. And
Yes.
and even though, you know, I was doing all this cooking and I was helping my sisters and brothers and I was keeping the kids together, God was using my cooking ability. He taught me how to cook. I never went to school to learn how to cook. And I was very successful with all my business. I had a fish market. I had a jug joint in my life. I've had that before. I've had 2 contracts with 2 different post offices in California. And I had another business besides that one because I had 2 businesses at the same time.
She was busy.
Yeah.
Now, before we got to find out too. Now, okay, in the book you have what you call the Divine 7. Okay, so tonight we have one of the ladies. Well, we have Nakia Davis that's in the book. Y'all have to get the book to read too. She has an awesome testimony, and
Dr. Brett.
and then Dr. Where's who in the book?
Brett Wolfsky.
Is
Yes.
this right here, right, Brent? Okay, and she also have with us, we're going to bring him up too. Brent Wolfskill is in here. He's the owner of a transitioning counseling. Wow.
This
There's
book
a
is
lot of
packed.
This book is
This
back
book
with
is
a
packed.
lot of people.
lot of
I was
power.
reading so much on the manuscript. I was going, I said, wait a minute, this can't be Johnny doing this. Then I went back and I saw where it was. There was awesome testimonies that people
Yes.
had gone through. So, Nakia, we're going to ask you to tell a little bit about your testimony before our time run out. So we're blessed to have, come on, give it up for Nakia Davis.
Wow.
And she's going to tell a little bit about her testimony. And you all need to get the book so you can read this in depth, okay? Go ahead, Nakia. We're happy that you joined us tonight.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And first of all, you do not look your age. You said your age. I was like, what?
She
Gorgeous.
doesn't look it.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
I'm really excited. Beautiful, beautiful. And I thank you again, Miss Johnny, for allowing me to be
Oh, thank you.
a part of your journey.
so much.
Brent Wolfskill, Dr. Brent Wolfskill is a powerful, powerful man in this book. He'll be coming up next. And I'm just one of the small pieces in this
No,
book.
no. We don't have small
And
pieces.
let me
You
tell
are one
you.
of the Lord's
Well, I
pieces
appreciate
in
it.
here.
I appreciate
God
that.
is a big God.
Let me tell you, God
Yes.
is a big God, but
Yes,
my
he is.
story is just it's a small,
big. It's
but
big.
that piece is a small piece of my
Oh,
life.
God, this is
It's
awesome.
it's a very small piece, but it means so much, and it was so impactful. But if you look at my 41 years of life and everything that I've been through, and yes, you're 100% right. Our God is a good God. He's a big God. He's a mighty God, and my story is big. But to me, it was this small little thing that impacted me in such a mighty way. And I remember when I got the call from the publisher, shout out to the incredible Miss Sylvia, who I met years ago, by the way, and came around to meet her again, by the way. It's interesting how that happened. But she called me up to ask me a question about weight loss and my weight loss journey, because I had a huge weight loss journey in 2016 where I went from a size 16 to a 6. And I had always felt chunky. I'd always felt heavy. I'd never been happy with myself. I was told by family members that I was chunky and fat, and there were specific words that were used. Those were the words
Hurting
chunky
words.
and fat were not the words that were used. I will just say that.
Yes.
But the words are in the book.
You have to read the book to get the words.
I'm just saying. And it was painful.
Yes.
And those
That was
words stuck with
devastating.
me. And so sometimes when you tell a kid you fat, you ugly, they keep going through life thinking they're fat, they're ugly,
What you say,
and
sticks and
worthless.
stones, you meant
Let me
that in
tell
your
you.
book?
Let me tell
Yes.
you. But one of the things that I know is that God is a good God. He is a mighty God. And even at that young age, he was carrying me through all up until this point today. So I got the call, hey, listen, let's talk about your weight loss journey. I was telling her about my weight loss journey. And then all of a sudden it went into how my grandmother, which was one of the people in the book, how some of the words, and I'm not going to tell you the words, I want you to get the book, the words that she spoke and how mean and how painful those words were to me.
Right.
But I wasn't the first one that she abused. She was abusive to all of her children. So much so, I have an uncle, and I'm gonna give you just so you can understand like the level of abuse. So much so, I have an uncle who was 7 years old. Back in the day, the bread was real thick. The bread paper back in the day, it was real thick, right? My uncle was hungry. It was 7 kids. He was 7 years old. All of the kids were kind of, ducking around the corner. We didn't call her grandma. We called her Mickey, my grandmother. Her kids couldn't call her mother. They called her Mickey. And they sent him into the kitchen to go get the bread. And somehow my grandmother heard that bread rustling. And she got up out her bed, shot up, cussing, screaming, yelling. And all of the kids scrambled. But he somehow, of course, being one of the youngest, got stuck and was not able to hide good enough. She saw him hiding, realized he was stealing bread from her. And mind you, it's her son. They don't eat a lot, but my grandmother, of course, was a single mom at this time. And so it was a lot happening. They were in Louisiana. It was a lot. She was trying to do her thing. You know what I mean? You think about it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a lot of money. They had to, if you got a piece of bread and all 7 kids got to square it up today, that's what you got. Well, he was hungry. And he went into the kitchen, tried to get this bread. My grandmother heard it, shot up out of the bed, yelling, screaming, cussing, went and saw him, found him in the kitchen and cut, you gonna steal from me? And I'm not gonna use the word. You gonna steal from me? Cut the fire on. Now, let me explain something to you.
Woo.
Nowadays, we got a burner where it's a circular thing,
Yes.
This is not what they had. She had a fire. And she cut that fire on and she took this 7-year-old boy's hand and she stuck it in the fire and she cussed him out. And she sent him to bed and he wailed in that closet for 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
This is the kind of abuse that my mother and her siblings had to endure. So with that being said, we come to the situation of me having to deal with the abuse and the trauma of my grandmother. And I didn't even realize that had anything to do with because until you start to talk about a story or until things start coming out, you don't realize what actually affects your life. And I, again, had known Miss Sylvia, so I felt very comfortable. I may not have been willing to tell everything that happened to me had it not been you asking me those questions, because it's personal stuff. I was literally pulling things out of me that I had never told anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, but it was just flowing. Like we was just talking and I talk for a living, right? So it should be easy for me to talk, but it's not easy for me to talk about this situation. Mm-hmm. And so then all of a sudden we got to talking about a situation that happened when I was 11 years old that was extremely traumatic and also had to do with a lot of the weight that I carried and a lot of not weight meaning not, spiritual weight or anything. I mean, physical weight that I continued to carry on me because I continued to eat. It was one of the things I kept eating to pacify. I did a lot of things. We had a lot of addictions that we really didn't talk about. I had a lot of addictions. And I thank God that's not I don't have to walk in that anymore. Amen, like day by day. Amen. You know what I'm saying? Like it is a process. It is a cycle. And I thank God that day by day, I don't have to continue to carry that as my story. But one of the things that happened, and it's in the book, I'm not really going to give that piece out because I want you to get the book, it was something that was very traumatic that happened to me when I was 11 years old. And when I was 13 years old, and those two things it was so much trauma and it was so heavy and it was so gut wrenching that I held it until I was 39 years old.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
So you telling your story here now, there are a lot of women who are 80 years old who still are holding on to things, and they're going to read celebrating me. Yes. Their daughters are going to read. Their children's children are going to read celebrating me. And somebody within that family is going to break a cycle that needs to be broken. Yes. So, and this is why I thank God that I'm in this book. You know what I'm saying? We each have different things that we went through, different journeys, different paths. But the one true thing that it all comes back to is, man, God is a good God, ain't he? You know what I'm saying? He will, no matter what your journey looked like, you know what I'm saying? He will literally make you whole. One of the first things you said is, girl, you sure don't look like what you've been through. And I said, man, thank God. Because if you rip me out on the open, wouldn't nobody even talk to me right now. You wouldn't even want to know me right now if you ripped me out in the open. But thank God that's not how he operates.
That's right.
That's not who he is.
That's right.
You know, I met Mr. Wolfskill when I was 20 years old. Hadn't seen Mr. Wolfskill in almost 20 years, and we're in a book together today.
Wow.
Look at God.
Look at God.
Another young lady in the book and I didn't know we were all in the book until I started reading. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, you done brought all my oldies and goodies back. You know, I mean, but this is just how God works, you know, and it's literally, this is the beginning of something that is so amazing for me. Let me tell you, I sat down, one of the things that we talked about in this book, and I'm gonna close with this. At the end of my story, I talked about, and I asked you to change this for a reason, because I needed people to see the full circle of how things happen. Me and my mom's relationship isn't perfect, right? I still have these things within me that are like, you know, did you really know? You know what I'm saying? How did you not know? And you got to get the book to understand what I'm talking about. But how did you did you really, and so all through my life, I'm still dealing with that. There's a process in life through everything. Right. You got rejection, denial, and acceptance and approval and all of these processes. So I'm going through all of the steps still as we speak. I'm 41 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Proud to be 41 years old and working through my life. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so I thank God that I had the opportunity on yesterday, just for a few minutes, I said, Mama, I know I've been busy, and I know you've been busy, and I know I have a lot of projects going on, but I need to just sit down with you and just take you out to just get a bite really quickly. And on yesterday, I sat down with my mom, and I had this book with me. Because at the end of this book, it talks about, and I ask you to change it for a reason, because I needed people to see the full circle of how, yes, damage can be done so bad to where you feel like you want to kill yourself. Because that's how I felt. Right.
That's true.
Damage could be done so bad to where you feel like you want to hurt somebody else. But God, he will bring that thing right back around. And I sat down with my mama yesterday and I said, hey, Mama, why don't you read that? I've opened up to my page. Read that. Tell me what you think. Now, mind you, she knew things that I had. So I had prepared her, because, again, I have always, one of the reasons why I didn't come out about the things that happened to me when I was younger is because one of the reasons is because I was protecting my mother and her feelings and the situation that we were in. And I didn't want people to know, and I didn't want her to look bad.
Right.
So I needed her to see this.
Good. That's good.
Before anybody else in our family or any link or anything. I need you to, because I don't need no bad feelings when we doing what we do. We need to be able to communicate properly. If you can't communicate properly, what are we doing? Right. Especially with the person that I've talked about in this book. Mama, read that. Go ahead. Check it out. And she read it and she was quiet. And I knew I could feel her seething. She was really angry about it. She was, because it told the secret that she didn't want to tell about her.
Right.
And it was in black and white, and she could see it. And at the end of reading it, she reached over and gave me a hug. She said, girl, I'm so proud of you. Mwah. And she gave me a kiss. She said, I love you. I've only heard I love you from my mama. I can count on one hand. And it happened the first time when I was 16 years old.
We okay. Mm-hmm.
So I thank you. And thank you. And thank you all. And thank the Divine Seven. And thank you for the opportunity. And thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever you need, whenever you need, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, Miss Sylvia, whenever you need. You know, when it's time for me to do my book, guess who doing my book? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got something to say, but it only started with celebrating me. This is how it started right here. Yeah. So thank you. Awesome. And my friends call me Kia. And so you all are my friends. Okay, y'all can call me Kia.
We thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna ask Doctor to come on up. Can you we'll just grab one of those chairs and come on up here, Doctor, and we'll scoot you over some. Yeah, just scoot him over some. That is beautiful. That was beautiful. God is so good. Just scoot down, son. Just scoot down. Just a little.
I'm gonna do that right there.
And we're gonna just let Dr. Brent Wolfskill talk just a few minutes because we get ready to close out. And it is just so awesome to have. And I see that you're in the book. Now tell us, how did you get in the book?
It definitely was a divine assignment. I called up Sylvia and asked her to take some photos for me for another book project.
So wait a minute, now Sylvia's a photographer too?
Yeah, she's a jack of all trades. Yeah.
I tell you, she is something else. Okay, so you talked to her.
She was doing some photos for me. And she came by my office. We had a great connection, a spiritual connection. She told me if I ever needed help with some of the writing, because I still had to sit down and write it. I had an assignment to put some words together, and I kind of waited to the last minute to do it. And then I was at crunch time, and I had all this stuff to say. I really couldn't think how to say it. And I said, I'm gonna call her. And she answered. And she answered. She said, what you need? And she did it right away. Did it like within the next day, did it for me, and helped me close that project out. And she told me that her sister was doing a book, and she said, I'd like to put you in my sister's book. And people say stuff all the time that they're gonna do that. And I said,
so you didn't think Sylvia was gonna do it?
Nope.
Oh, did you hear that, Sylvia?
Nope.
But she made a believe out of you,
sure
didn't
did.
she?
Because
I see your picture in it.
Right. And she
All
took
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you are what, a doctor? I see all these Elma,
I'm not a doctor. I am a licensed professional counselor. So
Okay.
I'm a psychotherapist and a mental health professional. I have I consider myself a mind, body, spirit counselor.
Okay.
And I have a private practice counseling agency in Grand Prairie, Texas. I founded the group, and there are several other therapists that some of them have trained under me. Some of them just joined the group, and they have their own individual practices under our group. I work for the Mansfield School District. I retired from that.
Oh, really?
I did. Back in January, I retired.
So what did you do at the Mansfield?
I was a therapist, a mental health
a therapist there.
for 16
Okay.
years with the children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Kimberly.
Who did we have on our show?
Aquila.
No, the tall guy. I know him. Go to my church. I can't think of his name. Tall.
Harold Willis.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know
Harold
He
trained
was on
under
the
me.
show
Because
before.
he said that he wanted you to come on the show.
Okay.
Isn't that something? And here you,
And you
are.
Wow.
Oh my
Okay, so
God.
this is who he was talking about.
Yes.
Oh, so this is what he was talking about.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, a shout out to you, Harold.
Brother
Oh
Will.
my gosh, we go to church
Wow.
together.
Okay.
Yeah, they go to church
And he
together.
came on the show, so when you scroll through
Pastor
the
Ed.
page,
And you can,
the Talk of Life talk show, you'll hear him.
if you go to
Okay.
YouTube,
Okay.
and
Or
you'll see him
Facebook.
on there, or
And-
Facebook.
Okay, I
And
will.
he
I'm going
wanted
to check that
to
out.
have you.
The show.
Wow.
Wow, isn't
Wow.
this
Isn't that
something?
funny? When you said Grand Prairie, I was
Gosh.
like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
same
Wow,
Yeah,
this
same
is
place.
awesome.
place. Wow.
Harold and I have been friends 20 years.
Yeah.
Whoa, isn't this? I tell you, see what the Talk of Life talk show will do for you?
Yes.
It just bring people together.
Yes.
And I know we got to get ready to close, but I know you are blessed to have these two people here with you tonight.
Yes.
That's in the book called Celebrating Me. Embrace, I love that word, embracing. I mean, it's just like you're embracing
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Who God created me to be. You all have to get this book. And you want to tell them how they can get your book.
You can go to celebratingme.net and get the book. Celebratingme.net.
And we will put that at the bottom of the screen as well, so that you can go and order this book.
And when you order the book, you're going to get a bookmark free with the book. And it has the scripture on the back, the scripture that talks about the mustard seed. And if you have that faith of a mustard seed, you can speak to your mountain and
Yeah.
they will move.
Yes.
All you have to do is believe, because Hebrew 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
So whatever you're hoping for and you can't see, keep trusting God, and it's in His time. And to Dr. Brent, my God, I mean, I'm the author,
Yes.
but I had never met you until today.
Right.
Get out of here.
No,
We talked on the phone. but we never
wow.
met.
There's four people in the book that I had never met.
It's
God,
good.
like I said,
And you had to trust God to put them in
Right.
your book.
God put this together.
Yes,
Sylvia
he
called me up
did.
because we were trying to get
Wow.
women's of all nationalities and a man, okay? And she called me, she said, Dr. Well, I'm going to keep calling you Dr. Britt.
People do all the time.
Yeah, because I'm speaking into your life.
Amen.
So she said, and I'm like, yes. And so I'm just so eternally grateful. You guys will never believe how much that I pray for you and I think about you daily. Because to tell your story
That's right.
the way you did, I
That's
got
right.
very transparent. I talked to my daughter. I said, Mama's going to tell a lot of stuff about things that went on. I called their father up and I said, I'm writing this book. And I'm going to have to tell some of the things that went on, and it's not pretty. You know what he said to me? And I know it was God. He said, tell your story. I said, how much of the story can I tell? And he told me, tell your story. And we're good friends, But I wanted to make sure I didn't tell or say anything that's going to hurt my children.
Right.
Because I love them too much.
Yes.
I love them too much.
And it is a good book. And
Kim,
yes,
Thank you.
Lord have mercy.
that was
I can't
awesome.
wait for you to come to California.
All right. Amen.
Yes.
I can't
Thank
wait to
you.
bring all of you. I'm
Yes.
truly hoping, and I believe God will honor this, that next year we could all come back together around
That's
September
gonna be
18th.
nice.
That's my daughter's birthday. I lost my grandson, and it's dedicated to him and my two daughters. That we can come together either in California or I'll come back to Dallas. I'll do whatever it takes for us to have a reunion next year.
And that would be awesome. And maybe we could get all of them on the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma. And have a good reunion. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you all so much. Again, remember, this is a book that you need to add to your library. It's an awesome book. Celebrate me. And all of us need to celebrate things that we have endured and share your testimony, because your testimony will help somebody be delivered, because I have truly been blessed, and to have you all on our show is just a blessing. And for you, Johnny, to come all the way, I know you have your sister here, but still, just to fly from California, that's my husband, born and raised state.
Oh, okay.
He lived in Watts. So.
I'll be here quite a bit.
Okay,
I will be
good.
coming back.
So we want you to come back.
I am. I'm
But
coming
thank
back.
you all so much. We got into the mustard and we got into the ketchup.
Thank you for getting into my sauce.
your mustard and your sauce. So
Yes,
thank
thank
you
you.
all. And we're going to have you all to come back and be on the show and just personally interview you all and be a part of. We want to send a shout out to Sylvia and Chocolate Diamond Publishing Company that did this book. May God bless you all. And remember, go to our Facebook page and like us. The Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I tell you, you all are missing some awesome shows, but you can always go back and look at them. So like us, subscribe to us, and if you would like to be on our show, check me out at www.elmatalkshow.com. May God bless you. Until we see you face to face, we're out.